Today I'm so excited because I get to sit down with my good friend Melinda. She was in the adult film industry for a year and she has now been out for a year and a half, and so I'm just so excited for her to get to share her story with you today. Hi Melinda.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. It's so good to be here with you and to just know your story and know what you've came from. And I know that God has just been doing such great things in your life, and I'm so excited that you're sharing your story today. Can you tell us, what was your upbringing like? What was childhood like for Melinda?
It was really hard, actually. My mother left when I was a baby, so I kind of always felt like that rejection, that feeling of not being wanted. My grandmother ended up pretty much raising me, and she tried giving me all the love that I felt like my mom didn't give me or my dad didn't give me, but I still felt like it wasn't enough. Like I just had this big void in my heart, like I needed to be loved and affirmed and just all these other things that I felt like I was just really needing, really lacking growing up.
Which is a huge part of why I got into the industry, is because I felt that rejection of I'm not good enough, does my family love me? And so I was looking for affirmation and I was looking for acceptance, and I was looking for it in all the wrong places. And you actually got into the industry when you were 21 years old. What was going on in your life at that time what was just going on in your life that you decided, the adult industry is the direction that I want to go into?
I think it started kind of back in high school. I noticed, I wasn't one of the popular girls or anything, but the girls I noticed that were more popular, I kind of wanted to be like them, but they had all the guys' attention after them. And so I kind of thought the more guys you have after you, or the more guys you're sleeping with, the more loved you are, and everything. So I kind of didn't feel like there was anything wrong with porn or the sex industry in general, just from a young age from that. I went into it because I had a friend that was going into it. At that time, my grandmother who raised me had just passed away, and I was working 2 minimum wage jobs and couldn't really support myself. So when my friend got into it, I was kind of okay, well, this is my sign. I'm gonna, do the same thing. I don't feel like anything's wrong with it.
And once you got into the industry, what was your experience like?
At the beginning, it was really good because I felt so affirmed after set. I would do a scene and all the people on set would praise me and everything, and I really liked that. But then it kind of wasn't enough. At first it was, but then that void I had in my heart was still there, of not feeling wanted, not feeling good enough either. It just wouldn't go away. I went in with all these emotional wounds, and kind of they just got worse when I went into porn.
Because oftentimes we think that, it's affirmation and praise of people that we're looking for, when really we're already fully affirmed and fully loved by God. And until we encounter that relationship with Him, then we're still going to be searching. So I remember there was a day when I was checking my direct messages on Instagram, and I had a message from you. You and I didn't know each other at the time, but can you talk to me about that day? You had reached out to me and you expressed that you wanted out of the industry.
So I had actually heard about you about 2 years, I think, before I went into the industry. I think when I was kind of researching porn, because I had an idea that I wanted to go into porn eventually. So one of your videos popped up, your interview of how you got out, and I actually watched that video and it kind of stuck with me.
And this was the interview that I did with Rachel right after I got out of the industry. It was filmed by XXXchurch.com.
Yeah, I remember that. So I reached out to you. It was about 3 months when I was in the industry, where I'm kind of okay, this isn't enough. I still feel very just unwanted, unloved. I was suicidal before I got into the industry, and this just made it so much worse. So I reached out to you, kind of getting advice, how can I get out and everything.
So you and we made the connection on Instagram, and I can't remember, it was shortly after that you expressed that you really did want out of the industry, and you and I had built a friendship, and I told you, okay, you want out of the industry, come and move in with me, right? And you drove down from Los Angeles to San Diego, and you moved in with me for one day.
I just completely freaked out the night, or the first night there. I just had a really severe panic attack, and I didn't tell you or your husband about it, and I just felt oh no, I'm not good enough. I can't live a normal life. I never experienced what that was like, just ever having a nice normal life, and I was really into like self-sabotaging myself too. When looking back, like I did all these things. I just feel like, I'm not deserving of a nice, normal, happy life. And so I ended up going back because I felt more comfortable in that situation of just being miserable for some reason.
Yeah, you found a sense of comfort in your pain. You know, so many women feel that way that are in the industry. I felt that way. I didn't want to leave the adult film, well, even when I wanted to leave the adult film industry, I would believe these lies in my head. Who's ever going to hire me? I'm never going to get a job, you know, nobody. And it was all of these lies, like I've made my bed and now I have to lie in it. So even though I wanted to leave the industry at 1.5 years, I didn't leave officially for a total of 7 years. So you're there that day. One thing you don't know that I'm going to share with you today is when you told me you were leaving, I just went in my room and I started crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, God, like I love this girl so much, you know, like not only is she so beautiful externally, but she's so smart, and she's more than just beauty, and she's so intelligent, and she can do so much with her life. And I was just crying, and I didn't know what to do. And I remember the Holy Spirit told me, Brittni, wipe your tears and go in the room and talk to her. I want you to tell her that she is always welcome at your house, because the thing is that even though she's going back to the industry, I want her to know that my arms are always open to her, that whenever she's ready to come back, I'm going to be there for her. And I want you to display that same love. So I don't know if you remember, I went into the room and I said, you're always welcome here. Whether you want a vacation, you want to leave the industry, whatever it is, you're always welcome at our house here in San Diego. And, you know, we sent you on your way, and I kept you in prayer over the next several months. And I remember getting another message from you that this time you wanted out. So you left the industry for a total of 3 times. That third time, what was going on in your life when, and in the industry, when you just said, you know, I am completely done, you know, I want no part of this industry and I am leaving for good this time around?
I mean, I had been miserable for so long in the industry. I just like was crying one night, and I just got to a place where I just felt like, oh, like I'm such a failure. I'm a failure at porn, at life, just everything. And I just really hit rock bottom. And then I was like, you know what? My worst fears was becoming homeless. I'm like, I would rather be homeless than spend another, you know, day doing what I'm doing. And so I made the decision, oh, I'm going to move into my car. I'm going to send out resumes. You know, I'm going to get my life back on track, live a normal, happy life. And I ended up telling one of my friends this. And I asked my friend if I could just use her address to put on the resumes I sent out. And she said, yeah, that's fine. But she ended up telling her aunt my story and what was going on and everything. And her aunt I had never met before. And she's like, well, I have an extra bedroom. Melinda can just come and live with me and, you know, get her life together and everything. So when I heard that, I was like, I was so amazed, and I was so shocked that someone would offer me such kindness, much like you did, you know, someone I know very well just opens up their home to me, and how like lucky and blessed I really was.
And I love too that you faced your fear, because oftentimes what holds us on the side that we don't want to be on is fear.
Yes.
And so you had to face it. You said, you know, my biggest fear was being homeless, but I finally decided that I'd rather like live in my car than be in this industry. And so you faced your fear, and look at how God has just continued to bless you. You know, you have a place to live, and you have a great job, and you go to school, and you're doing so many incredible things with your life, and I'm just so extremely proud of you. Now, let's say there's another woman who is contemplating getting into the industry, and she is searching testimonies, and say she stumbled upon yours. I want you to speak to her. What would you say to that woman who's thinking about getting into the industry today?
Well, I would tell her, you know, before I got into the industry, I felt like I really couldn't do anything else. I felt like I wasn't deserving, or I just like really wasn't smart enough to do anything else. I was too broken. But I want to let you know that you are loved, and you are beautiful, and you can do anything you want with your life, and that you have a very specific purpose for your life as well. So just wanting to let you know you are very, very wanted, very cherished.
Amen. I love that. I love that. Well, it's been a blessing being with you. I love you so much. You're such a sweetheart. And I'm so excited and so grateful for you sharing your story today.
Thank you.
You're going to help a lot of people.
Hope so.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Melinda's story. Stories like Melinda's are the very reason why we go into porn conventions, because we want to hand out thousands and thousands of Bibles at every convention we go to. We want to connect with more people who are in the adult film industry like Melinda once was and like I once was. We also want to connect with thousands and thousands of people who are addicted to pornography so that we can not only give them a Bible, but we can share the love of God and go into places that most people wouldn't even dare going into. And so today we ask that you would pray about partnering with us. Thank you so much for your generosity. We love you and God bless you.